Buckle up, everybody. We're going deep on global payments today, specifically XRP, RLUSD, and ISO 2022.
Yeah, it's a really interesting combo. You've got a digital asset, a stable coin, and then this whole new standard for financial messaging. Lots of potential to shake things up.
For someone who's maybe not super familiar with all this stuff, what are we really talking about here?
Think faster, cheaper, more efficient cross-border payment.
Like way faster, right?
Yeah, we're talking sending money across borders almost as easy as sending a text. That's the kind of vision we're looking at.
Okay, so let's break this down a bit. XRP, what makes it different?
Well, think about the last time you sent money internationally.
Don't remind me, it took forever.
Right. Days, maybe even longer sometimes. Plus those fees? Ouch.
I know, it's like they take a cut just because they can.
And that's exactly what XRP is trying to fix. XRP uses this unique way of verifying transactions. It's called a consensus protocol. It helps settle payments in seconds instead of days and with much lower fees.
So we're talking speed and savings. Got it. But I've also heard some buzz about XRP being good for the environment.
Yeah, that's right. Some cryptocurrencies are really energy intensive. They use a ton of electricity for mining. But XRP's consensus protocol is designed to be much more efficient, much less energy consumption.
Interesting. Okay, so speed, low cost, and environmentally friendly. But what about stability? Crypto can be pretty volatile, right?
Definitely, which is where RLUSD comes in. It's a stablecoin pegged to the US dollar, so it's designed to hold its value much better.
So basically, a digital version of the dollar.
Pretty much. It gives you that stability that's crucial for businesses and people who don't want to deal with wild swings in value.
Makes sense. So we've got XRP for speed, RLUSD for stability, but how do all these systems communicate?
Well, that's where we need a common language. And that's where ISO 2022 comes in. It's a new global standard for financial messaging, designed to replace all the old clunky systems we're stuck with.
The articles I was reading made it sound like a pretty big deal. Why is that?
Think about it like this. Right now, it's like we're sending financial messages by telegram. Slow, not a lot of details.
And ISO 2022 is like switching to email.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Faster, more secure, you can pack a lot more information into it.
Okay, I like that analogy. So better data, better security, more efficiency overall. Sounds like a serious upgrade for the whole financial world.
Definitely. And even Swift, the big player in global payments right now, they're seeing the writing on the wall. They're planning to move to ISO 2022 by 2025.
But Ripple's already ahead of the curve, right?
Yeah, they're already compliant with ISO 2022. It gives them a real edge in this whole evolving landscape, like they were looking into a crystal ball and saw where things were going.
Impressive. So let's piece this all together. XRP moving things quickly, RLUSD keeping things stable, and ISO 2022 making sure everyone can talk to each other. How does this play out in the real world?
Okay, imagine a business needs to make an international payment. They could use XRP to send those funds super fast and with low fees, right? Then, on the other end, those funds can be converted to RLUSD, so the recipient knows exactly what they're getting.
And this whole process is smooth and seamless because of ISO 2022.
Exactly. Everyone's speaking the same language, the data's flowing easily.
I see it. It's like a perfectly coordinated system.
Yeah.
Everyone wins. Lower costs, faster transactions, more transparency, tighter security.
Yeah. Potentially huge benefits for everyone involved. Individuals, businesses, even entire economies could be impacted. It's not just about making things faster and cheaper, though. There's a bigger picture here.
Oh, like what? Well, this tech could actually help make the whole global financial system more inclusive, more accessible for everyone.
That sounds pretty idealistic.
Yeah.
But are the big financial institutions really ready to jump on board with all this? It's a good question. And the answer is, well, it's complicated. Some institutions are definitely paying attention. They're partnering with companies like Ripple, trying to integrate this stuff into their operations.
So they're realizing they need to adapt or they'll get left behind.
Exactly. They see the potential, right? More efficient, lower costs, better security. They know this could give them a real edge over their competition. But, of course, there's pushback, too.
I mean, change is hard for some people, right?
It's not just that. There are these massive legacy systems they're dealing with, tons of regulations, and they've been doing things a certain way for so long, it's hard to shift course.
Understandable, I guess. But what about central banks, the really big players? Where do they stand on all of this?
That's actually one of the most interesting parts of this whole story. Central banks around the world are starting to explore blockchain technology and digital currencies.
You mean those CBDCs, those central bank digital currencies I keep hearing about?
Yep, those are the ones. Basically, it's like a country's currency, but in digital form. issued and controlled by the central bank. And some of them are even looking at Ripple's tech as a possible foundation for their CBDC projects.
Wow, that's a big step. What would that even look like, central banks using this stuff?
Well, think about it. Cross-border payments between countries could become super fast and cheap. Imagine sending money to another country instantly, almost no fees.
Yeah, that'd be huge, especially for people who send money to family in other countries.
Right. Remittances could be completely transformed, and it could also help people who don't have access to traditional banks, bring them into the financial system. Millions of people could benefit from that.
It's pretty exciting stuff, but are there any downsides, risks we should be thinking about?
Yeah, of course. Every new technology has its challenges. One of the big ones here is regulation. Crypto and blockchain are still relatively new, so the rules are still being figured out.
Kind of a Wild West situation?
In some ways, yeah. And that can make businesses and investors nervous, not knowing exactly what the rules are. But regulators are starting to pay more attention, which is good. We're starting to see some frameworks that are trying to balance innovation with keeping consumers safe.
That's good to hear. What about security and privacy? Those seem pretty important when you're talking about money.
You're not wrong. Blockchain is secure by design, but no system is perfect. We need to have strong safeguards to protect against hacking and fraud and data breaches.
So we need to build trust in these systems before people will really feel comfortable using them.
Right. And that means transparency, accountability, and really committing to the best security and privacy practices.
Okay, so we've got the benefits, the challenges, central banks getting involved, and the need for regulation and security. But are we just talking hypotheticals here? Or is this stuff actually being used in the real world?
The cool thing is this is already happening. We're seeing it used in lots of different areas, like remittances, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, sending money to family in other countries. How is this tech changing that?
Well, traditionally, sending remittances has been a pain, right? Expensive, slow, lots of fees. But with digital currencies and blockchain, we're seeing platforms that can make it much cheaper and faster.
That can make a real difference for families who rely on that money.
Definitely. And we're also seeing this tech used for international trade and supply chain finance. It can make transactions smoother, more transparent, and cut down on fraud.
So it's starting to have a real impact on how the global economy works.
Yeah. And as this technology keeps getting better and more people use it, we'll probably see even more innovative uses for it down the road.
Pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But what about control, centralization? If companies like Ripple become too powerful, wouldn't that be a problem?
It's a valid concern. We definitely need to be mindful of that. One of the big ideas behind blockchain is decentralization, right? Power is spread out, not concentrated in one place.
But if one company controls the technology, that doesn't seem very decentralized.
That's the point. That's why it's so important to have competition and innovation, Lots of different players contributing so no one gets too much control.
So a level playing field where everyone has a chance to participate.
Exactly. And that's why open source platforms are so important. They allow for more collaboration and prevent any single company from becoming a gatekeeper,
Okay, so big picture time. What does all of this actually mean for the average person? Like, how will this stuff change our lives?
I think that's the most important question. We can talk about tech all day, but it's got to make a real difference for people,
Totally. So help me imagine it. What's the future of global payments going to look like for regular folks?
Imagine sending money to your family overseas, and it's as easy as sending a text. Boom, it's there. No more waiting, no crazy fees, taking a bite out of your money. That's the kind of future this could bring.
That'd be amazing. What about for businesses? What's the impact there?
For businesses, especially smaller ones that do business internationally, this could be a total game changer. Payments process faster, so they have more cash on hand. That's huge for growing a business. And lower fees mean more profits.
So everyone wins.
Could be, yeah. But like we talked about, there are still things we need to figure out. Regulations, security, making sure this whole system stays decentralized and competitive, those are all super important.
It feels like we're at this really pivotal moment. Huge potential, but also some big questions. What's the most important thing for people to remember as we move into this new financial world?
Stay informed, stay curious. Things are changing so fast, and the rules are still being written. The more we understand all of this, the better choices we can make, and we can push for policies that make sense,
Yeah, it's not enough to just sit back and watch. We got to be a part of shaping this thing.
Exactly. Ask questions, don't just accept things at face value, and demand transparency and accountability from the people building and controlling this stuff.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about the values behind it.
You're right, 100%. We need to make sure these changes are creating a better system for everyone. A system that's fair and sustainable and works for the many, not just a few.
Well said. This has been an awesome deep dive into the future of payments. We've covered a lot. From the nitty-gritty of XRP, RLUSD, and ISO 2022 to what this all means for people, businesses, the whole world, really.
It's been fun exploring this with you.
Same here. And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey. Hope you found it useful. The future of finance is being created now, so stay curious, stay engaged, and be a part of the conversation.
The future is what we make it.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep exploring.